was correct, huh?
Yeah. I'm good. Okay.
Now the tires are warm.
That's what I was smelling.
Mike and I are car enthusiasts, and our goal when getting each one is to always improve. Whether that's creature comforts, horsepower, or looks, we always try to step up with each one. Our car enthusiast journey started with the Infiniti G35 because Megan liked the way it sounded. Then we got a Pontiac Trans Am for Mike to drive Megan around with the T-tops off. It was loud, torquey, and the most horsepower we'd had to that point. In fact, Megan's first run on the drag strip was in that car. We traded the G35 and got a BMW 335i for Megan to drive. This was the start of higher quality and class. We ended up selling both the Trans Am and the 335i to get a Nismo 370Z. It was the next best thing to the R35 GTR and Gran Turismo at the time, which certainly influenced the purchase. It was a happy, drifty car, but when we drove it from the Midwest to Vegas when we moved here, we found out you can't lean the seats back for a nap. Not a trip car. We sold the 370 and got an E92 M3, our first taste of a dual clutch, and it was wonderful. And back to creature comforts. We also got a GMC Sonoma to transport the bikes to and from the track. Mike lowered it to an easy loading and unloading height and put gold wire rims on it. Low and slow. And the M4 was fine until a 75-year-old man in a Tesla raced and beat Mike from a stoplight. That was enough to immediately find a Model S to replace it. We found a Tesla, and it was great, until it wasn't. We thought our Tesla was an exception to the poor quality reputation we'd long heard about. But then we decided to do the front fascia bumper swap, and after digging into it, we found the reputation Tesla has earned is very accurate. At that point, its one redeeming quality, fast launches, had worn off, and we wanted out. We always liked a Nissan GTR, but they were never in our price range. But we decided to swap the Tesla for a candy orange R35 and see what all the hype was about. We got it and immediately ran into issues when trying to add flex fuel and trying to tune it. And after finally getting it tuned and functional, we realized it was still just a Nissan. So when the prices on the R35 started going up last year, we jumped at the opportunity to sell the car and make money, which is what led us here. A Mercedes AMG GTS. It's much less powerful than the R35, but it's sophisticated, and it definitely has more creature comforts. And we loved the way it sounded. A welcomed improvement from the R35, but it still was not the whole package. And then this happened. A few months after we were underwhelmed with the AMG's launch control, disaster struck. Mike came out into the garage one morning and found this rather large puddle, which was so odd because we had driven the car to the gym less than 12 hours before and there were no noticeable issues. So Vegas Auto Gallery Service picked up the car and updated us later the same day. The transaxle had the leak of death. And since Mercedes doesn't authorize service technicians to open the transaxle, doesn't even provide tools or parts to fix it, the entire transaxle would have to be replaced at the very modest price of $23,000. So thank goodness we did purchase a warranty.
So I tore out this whole transmission, replaced it, and then put it back in. Now it's leaking again from a different place, so I gotta reseal that. But this is a transaxle, so it's transmission and drive and rear axle all in one, and the engine in the front right there. So it runs a torque tube with a carbon fiber drive shaft, and that's that.
This is a getrag.
It's a getrag.
Getrag.
It's a getrag gearbox, and it's the same ones that you find in Ferrari 458s, Ferrari California, and other supercars. I didn't know that. I've only worked on these ones for Benz.
And the final bill was with this was 23
and some change, including parts labor, fluids, all that stuff.
23,000.
From us, I'm sure Benz is a bit pricier. So.
And this would be the same that's in the Black Series.
Usually, yeah. But different gears and stuff like that.
Right.
Different specs, but
ratios.
Yeah, superficially it's the same exact casing.
The engine block would be the same with the exception of the flat crank.
But they're all dry stumped anyway. But the flat plane crank, different tuning. I think different turbos too for the Black Series. Yeah.
What other special fact or problem or interesting thing about these cars?
If you got
Can you
the
add?
right year, there was one that had a drift mode knob, and you could adjust the traction control to see how good you were when you were drifting. And then those ones had four-wheel steering in the rear and in the front, and a carbon fiber torque tube with the carbon fiber drive shaft inside of it. And that's probably one of the cooler ones. And then the active aero on the bottom, and then because there's a bladder here that inflates, so it blocks the wind, so no wind comes underneath you and it's pushing your car down more.
Tell me your name again for the video.
Hey, Aaron, what's up?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
I was highly educated as they were explaining all of the intricacies of this job. So, if you're gonna get an AMG GTS, do make sure you've opted for the extended warranty, which in this case was $4,000. Very much worth it.
Now that we have the transaxle issue addressed, can you guess what the make and model of our replacement car is?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Man, I ain't the one. 10, 9, 8. Frontin' like you on my level, boy, you ain't the one. Copy Kinkos, lines lit up, bingos, reload.